day learners, welcome back. This is question number 6. Here we are going to discuss trigonometric function. Okay, so on the diagram you can see a cos graph, but cos graph it is normally a bell shape like this, isn't it? But here we can see upside down what happened. This one is reflected about the x-axis. That is why it has a negative sign here, -2 cos x. Clear? Okay, so that graph is drawn here. Then it is drawn in the domain from 0 to 360. That graph is visible from 0 to, you can see the x value starting from 0 up until 360. That is the domain of the graph. So we can do the first question, that is 6.1. What is that? Write down the amplitude of this f of x. F of x is the given graph, isn't it? So amplitude, how do you find the amplitude? The maximum value minus minimum value divided by 2, isn't it? Okay, so what is maximum value of a graph means the y value of that point. So it is y value is 2 and the minimum is -2, isn't it? So we can find the amplitude. Formula is maximum minus minimum divided by 2. Maximum is 2 minus minimum is -2 divided by 2. So which is going to be 2 plus 2 divided by 2. So the answer is 4 divided by 2, which is going to be 2. So this is the amplitude of the graph. So don't forget, amplitude normally they asked for sine and cos. Clear? So how do you calculate maximum minus minimum divided by 2? Because in the case of tan, maximum is infinity, minimum is minus infinity. Because tan is going upwards indefinitely, downwards also indefinitely. So it doesn't have maximum and minimum, okay? But sine and cos, they both are wave graph. So it has maximum and minimum. Those are the, identify the highest point and find the y value, okay? All right, now 6.2. Write down the minimum value of f of x plus 3. Isn't it? What is happening here? F of x, the given graph is shifted 3 units up. So find out what is the minimum value of that graph. Clear? So go to f of x. So what is the minimum value of f of x? That is -2, isn't it? Which is -2 is the minimum value of f of x is -2. And what happened to the graph? Graph shifted 3 units up. That is 1, 2, 3. Isn't it? Now what is the minimum value of the graph? It is 1, or -2 is the minimum value of f of x. Then add 3, which is going to be 1 is the answer. Because graph is moving upwards 3 units. So the minimum value also moving upwards 3 units. So it is going to be 1. -2 was the minimum value. Now the minimum value is 1. Is it clear now? Okay. Now we are going to do the next question, 6.3, where we are going to draw another graph on the same set of axes. All right, 6.3. What is 6.3? On the same set of axes, you guys will be provided a diagram sheet with the given graph, but there is a space for the next graph. What is the next graph? That is 6.3. Let me write it here. Sorry, 6.3. What is that? It is another graph, that is g of x. What is g of x? Sine x plus 1. So using the given x values, you can plot it. What is the first x value? Is 0, isn't it? Just type it. How do you type in the calculator? Sine, in the place of x you have to write 0 there, then put a bracket. Angle must be inside the bracket, then plus 1 outside. This is how you have to type it. When you type that, you will get, just type it, you will get the answer 1. Clear? So you have to plot it. When x value is 0, that is the first x value, you will get 1. Clear? Now, because you know the sine graph, what is shape of sine graph? Sine graph is like this S shape, isn't it? So you know the shape. So just plot those relevant points. I'm just taking 90. That is, substitute in the place of x. That is sine 90 90 plus 1, which is going to be 2. Let me plot it over 90. The value is 2. See, I am plotting it here. Then let me type 180 in the place of x. It will give you 1. Okay. So we can see that 180 if you type it there on the calculator. Yes. Then when you type 270, it will give you 0. So you will see that one when you type 270. Yes, it's showing 0 there. Then the last x value I am taking 360. When you type 360, it is again going back to 1. So this is how the graph points are plotted. Now I think you got an idea. Just join starting from 1. So it will go like this. Then it will go like this. Turning point here. Then it will go. See. So this is how you have to draw the graph. Okay, so at 90 and 270 we have a turning point. So this is how we have 3 marks question. You have to do it. Now 6.4.1. 6.4.1. What is that? Use the graph to determine the following: f of 180 degree minus g of 180 degree. What does this mean? F of x become f of 180 minus g of x become g of 1. That is, you have to replace x with 180. Okay, what is f of x? F of x is minus 2 cos, right, to 180 x. The replace x with 180 minus, what is g of x? Sine 180 plus 1. So write the function f of x and g of x where x value replaced with 180. When you type it in the calculator, you will get it. This is going to be 2 minus this is going to be 1. So 2 minus 1, answer is 1. Clear? All right. That is the difference between two graphs at 180. Look at graphically, we can read it. Go to the 180. See, difference between two graphs is what? 1 unit, isn't it? Yes, same answer we got it. When you substitute in the function and subtract them, you will get like that. Now 6.4.2. 6.4.2. f of x times g of x. F of x times g of x is greater than 0. You have to find the value under which value you will get f of x times g of x greater than 0. This question, inequality with 0, means you are dealing with the positive and negative sign of the graph. Clear? So when you multiply, look at here, when you multiply, two graphs are multiplied, answer must be greater than 0 means. So their multiplication must have positive sign, isn't it? Positive sign. They must multiplied one must, or product must be in positive. So graph positive and graph negative. The part of the graph above x-axis is positive, below x-axis is negative. Or we can say the graph in the first quadrant and the second quadrant, if you see, that is positive part of the graph. Third quadrant and the fourth quadrant, it is in the negative part. Okay, so let me write the sign of the graph. First start with the sign g of x. See, this part is above positive, isn't it? I mean above x-axis. See, I'm just g of x sign is positive, 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 then 0, then again positive. X-intercept means graph 0, okay? Yeah. Then cos graph, look at that. These are the negative part of cos graph. Do you agree that? Because it is under x-axis. Then 0 value, then over x-axis. Positive. Did you see that? Positive part of. You don't need to write it. You have to think like this. Okay. Then 0, then negative. Okay. What they want? They want their multiplication must be positive. So, can you identify the interval on the x-axis where both graphs at the same time positive, from where to where? Look at that, from 90. So, this part from 90 to 270. Look at both graphs. Are they both positive? Yes, both are positive, which means their multiplication also going to be positive. So the answer is from 90, all the x values from 90 to 270. Since the inequality does not have equal to sign, you don't need the zero values or 90 and 270, so you have to use open bracket. Is it clear now? So this is how you have to do this question. Okay, yes, now we can go to question number 6.5. What happened in 6.5? The graph of f is reflected about the x-axis and then moved 3 units downwards to form a new graph h of x. Write down the equation of new graph. It's a very simple question. 6.5.1. So what is f of x? F of x is, let me write it standard form, y is equal to minus 2 cos x. You are going to do the transformation in this graph, isn't it? First transformation is reflecting about y-axis. Reflection about y-axis, sorry, reflection about x-axis, right? Reflection about x-axis means change the sign of y. So this y become negative. Negative y is equal to minus 2 cos x. Therefore, y is equal to, divide both sides negative, which means left hand side negative cancel, right hand side also cancel. It's going to be 2 cos x. See the graph reflected about x-axis. Then this graph moved 3 units down, which means down means you have to subtract 3 at the end. Is it clear? So this y is h of x. H of x is equal to 2 cos x minus 3. So we are done. This is answer to the first question. 2 transformations happened there. Clear? Now we move to 6.5.2. You have to find the range of this graph in this interval, isn't it? A range, you know that, guys. What is that graph h of x? We can do this question different ways. I will show you a simple one. 2 cos x minus 3. Go to cos x. See cos x. What is the range of cos x? Cos x is minus 1 to 1. The one that we studied when we started trigonometric function. Sin x and cos x range is minus 1 to 1, close to bracket, isn't it? Then what happened to cos x? Multiplied by 2 first. So this is going to be, you have to multiply this one with the 2 and this also with the 2. So it's going to be what, guys? Minus 2 to 2, isn't it? Minus 1 multiplied by 2 and 1 also multiplied by 2. Is it clear? So minus 2. Now it is minus 2 to 2. Then after that what will happen? Negative 3. Subtract 3 from both. That is from here minus 3. Here also minus 3. So that is going to be the new range. So minus 2 minus 3, which is going to be minus 5. So that is the range. Y element minus 5. Then 2 minus 3, which is going to be minus 1. So this is the new range. Okay, so you have to start from the basic graph, that is cos x here, then multiplied by 2. So cos x range is minus 1, 1, multiplied by, when you multiply, you have to multiply lower limit and upper limit. So minus 1 become minus 2, 1 become 2. Then what will happen? 3 you have to subtract from both. From minus 2, when you subtract to minus 3, which is going to be minus 5, 2 minus 3, which is going to be minus 1. So this is how we do that question. Okay, guys, let's do this question also. Here we can see 2 graphs are there. One is f of x. It is that is sine graph. Okay, a sine x, that you can see this graph, isn't it? F of x. We can see the name is even written there on the graph. You can see that f of x. Then the other graph is g of x, that is cos graph. You can see that this graph, isn't it? Okay, both graphs are drawn there. You don't need to draw here. It's already, both graphs are drawn there. Okay, here f of x is not a complete function. We can see that a is there, isn't it? You have to find the value of a, then only that we can say that that function is a completed one. Okay, that is the first question, 6.1. What is that question? Find the value of a. Okay, normally this kind of questions, this question is there in grade 11 and grade 12. What you have to do is take a point from that graph and substitution, that is the method that we are using there. Okay, since a is part of sine graph, can you get 1 point on this graph? Okay, just find out 1 point, preferably that point is having a non-zero values, that is a. So here I am choosing this point, guys, this point. What is that point? That point is x value 90, y value 2, isn't it? And that point is on sine graph. So let me substitute, that is, let me write the standard form, y is equal to a sine x, and that point is 90 and 2. Substitute y value 2, a times sine of 90. Okay, that is 2 is equal to a times, what is sine 90? In the calculator it is 1. So we got the value of a is equal to 2. Another way also we can do this question, but substitution is, safe side. Okay, take a point from that graph that you can read it, substitute, you will get the answer. Okay, now we can go to 6.2. What is 6.2? Calculate the period of sine graph. Now the sine graph we know, because we know the value of a is 2, that is 2 sine x, isn't it? Okay, so you have to find the period of sine graph and cos graph. What is the period? Formula is 360 divided by the coefficient of the angle, isn't it? Here x is the angle. What is the coefficient of x? 1. The number attached to x is 1 there, isn't it? So that's it. So the answer is P is equal to 360 degree. Period is 360, isn't it? Okay, sine graph. Or from the graph also we can read it. Look at, the shape of the sine graph is S shape. We can see that a full S shape starting from 0 up until 360, isn't it? Okay, so that horizontal distance is the period of the graph, that is 360 minus 0, that is 360. Or you can use even formula to get the answer. Next question is, write down the range of G. Range of G, that is 6.3. Range of G, that is all the y values of G, isn't it? You find a range minimum and maximum, isn't it? Get the minimum, you have to use a closed bracket, then minimum value and maximum value. So G of x, which graph is G of x cos graph? That is this one, this graph, isn't it? So what is the minimum value? That is, this point is the minimum point and the maximum point is this one. So find out the y value. Here the y value is 0, here y value is 2, isn't it? So the range is all the y value starting from 0 up until 2, close to bracket. Okay, so actually the height of the graph where we are covering all the y values, isn't it? Range is all the y values of all the, y values, all the points y value, you have to take it, that is 0 to 2, close to bracket. Or those who want to write with the inequality, we can write like this, 0 less than or equal to y less than or equal to 2. Okay, so when it comes to range, you have to check the minimum point and maximum point and take the y values of those 2 points and use close to bracket, because those values itself also part of that graph. Okay, now we move to 6.4. What is 6.4? Inequality. Did you see inequality with the 0 there? So I told you the previous question, how did we do? You have to check all the positive and negative side of the graph, isn't it? Okay, so here the question is 6.4, f of x is multiplied by g of x, and answer is greater than 0, means positive, isn't it? Positive means either both of them must have, either both of them got a positive sign or both of them got a negative sign. Find out the interval where both graphs are either positive or negative. Or graphically, when you go to the graph, find out the interval where both graphs are either above x-axis or below x-axis. We can see that from 0 up until 180, look at here, look at both graphs. Where are they? We can see both graphs are above the x-axis, isn't it? Which means both graphs are positive from 0 to 180. Since both graphs are positive, their multiplication also positive, which means that is the solution. So when you take x values from 0 to 180, we can see both graphs are positive. But after 180, what is happening? This graph is positive, this graph is positive and this graph is negative. So one is positive, other one negative. When you multiply, it is going to be negative. We don't want it. We want the multiplication must be positive. So the answer is from 0 to 180 and the bracket is open because inequality alone there, isn't it? So 0 values are not considered. Now coming to the last question, 6.5. The graph G is reflected about the x-axis. Means you have to change the sign, isn't it? That is, let me do that one. G of x is y is equal to cos x plus 1. Is reflecting about the x-axis mean change the sign of y. Minus y is equal to cos x plus 1, isn't it? Now arrange them. That is, I want y with the positive, negative sign you have to send other side. That is, y is equal to, divide both sides negative mean this side minus cos x, then minus 1. So the one that I did now is the reflection about x-axis. Then what happened? This graph shifted 2 units upwards, means you have to add 2 at the end. Guys, I'm doing this one very fast because we did already this kind of the previous question, okay? So it is easy to understand. So now the equation is y is equal to minus cos x plus 1. Isn't it? This y is the new graph. What is the name of new graph? H of x. H of x is equal to minus cos x plus 1. So we are done. All right. So you can expect this type of question, either the first type or the second type. First type, you draw the graph. Second type, you are just finding values from the graph. Any one of these kind of questions you can expect in the coming test. So guys, please do this type of questions. Okay. Thank you.